The discovery. Marcus Chen had always been good with his hands, but he never expected those hands would change the fate of an entire alien civilization. Working as a maintenance engineer aboard the massive trade station Nexus Prime, he spent his days fixing broken environmental systems and dodging the contemptuous glares of alien species who saw humans as nothing more than clever monkeys with opposable thumbs. The Vorthak were the worst of them all. Standing nearly 8 feet tall with crystalline skin that shifted colors based on their mood, they controlled most of the galaxy's advanced technology trade. Their ambassador, HFY, treated humans like particularly annoying insects, barely acknowledging their existence except when absolutely necessary. It was during a routine repair job in the diplomatic quarters that Marcus first encountered something that would haunt his thoughts for weeks. He'd been called to fix a malfunctioning air recycling unit in HFY's private chambers when he noticed the ambassador hunched over a peculiar device. The alien's crystalline skin was pulsing a deep crimson, a color Marcus had learned indicated intense emotional distress. The device itself was unlike anything Marcus had ever seen. It resembled a small metallic sphere covered in intricate geometric patterns that seemed to shift and move when he wasn't looking directly at them. HFY was manipulating the patterns with 6 of his 12 fingers, creating complex sequences that made the sphere emit a soft, melodic humming. When HFY noticed Marcus, his skin flashed to an angry purple. "Human, you were not authorized to see this. Complete your repairs and leave immediately." Marcus nodded quickly and focused on the air unit, but his engineer's mind couldn't stop analyzing what he'd witnessed. The device clearly wasn't Vorthak technology. Their equipment typically featured harsh angles and aggressive designs. This sphere had an almost organic quality, as if it had grown rather than been manufactured. Over the following days, Marcus found excuses to return to the diplomatic quarters. He learned that HFY had been exiled from the Vorthak homeworld 15 years ago, stripped of his family name, and forbidden from returning. The reasons were unclear, but station gossip suggested it involved some kind of political scandal. What Marcus found most intriguing was HFY's behavior around the device. The proud, arrogant ambassador became gentle, almost tender, when handling the sphere. His skin would shift to soft blues and greens, colors associated with love and longing among the Vorthak. Marcus began studying Vorthak culture with an intensity that surprised even him. He learned that their society was built around complex family hierarchies and that exile was considered a fate worse than death. An exiled Vorthak could never return home, never see their family again, and their name would be erased from all records. The breakthrough came when Marcus overheard a heated communication between HFY and someone on his homeworld. The ambassador was pleading, his skin cycling through desperate shades of yellow and orange. Marcus's translation software picked up fragments: daughter, forgiveness, memory core, and last chance. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the sphere, about HFY's obvious pain, and about his own daughter Sarah, whom he hadn't seen in 3 years due to his work assignment. The thought of being permanently separated from her was unbearable. The next morning, Marcus made a decision that would change everything. He waited until HFY left for a trade council meeting, then used his maintenance credentials to access the ambassador's quarters. The sphere sat on a pedestal in the center of the room, its patterns slowly shifting in what looked like a resting state. Marcus had brought his most sophisticated scanning equipment, tools typically used for analyzing complex alien technologies. As he ran the scans, the sphere's patterns suddenly accelerated, responding to his presence. The device was clearly some kind of advanced artificial intelligence, but unlike anything in the galactic databases. The scans revealed something remarkable. The sphere wasn't just a computer. It was a repository of memories, emotions, and experiences. More specifically, it contained what appeared to be a complete psychological profile of a young Vorthak female, including her memories from childhood through early adulthood. Marcus realized he was looking at HFY's daughter, preserved in digital form. The ambassador had somehow managed to save his daughter's consciousness before his exile, keeping her with him as the only connection to his lost family. But there was a problem. The sphere's power core was failing. The exotic matter that powered the device was degrading, and within a few months, it would be completely depleted. When that happened, HFY's daughter would be lost forever. Marcus spent the rest of the day analyzing the power core. Vorthak technology was notoriously difficult to repair, requiring materials and techniques that were closely guarded secrets. But Marcus had something the Vorthak didn't expect: human ingenuity and a willingness to think outside conventional parameters. The solution came to him in a flash of inspiration. Human fusion reactors used a similar type of exotic matter, though in much cruder applications. If he could adapt human technology to Vorthak specifications, he might be able to create a replacement power core. But there was a catch. The materials he needed were restricted, and obtaining them would require breaking several galactic trade laws. More importantly, it would mean stealing from the very aliens who already despised his species. Marcus thought about his own daughter again, about the years of separation and the letters that took months to reach her. He thought about HFY's obvious pain and the gentle way the ambassador handled the sphere containing his daughter's essence. Some things, Marcus decided, were more important than laws. The theft itself was almost anticlimactically simple. Marcus had access to the station's main power distribution network as part of his job. The exotic matter he needed was stored in heavily shielded containers in the station's core, but Marcus knew every maintenance tunnel and service corridor. He also knew the shift patterns of the security drones. It took him 3 nights to gather everything he needed: small amounts of exotic matter, quantum processing cores, and specialized crystalline matrices that were worth more than Marcus would earn in a lifetime. Each theft was carefully planned to avoid detection, and Marcus used his knowledge of alien psychology to misdirect suspicion toward other species with known grievances. The hardest part was the construction. Working in his tiny quarters with improvised tools, Marcus had to essentially reverse engineer Vorthak technology while creating something entirely new. The process required a level of precision that pushed his skills to their absolute limits. He made 17 prototypes before creating something that might actually work. The new power core looked nothing like Vorthak technology. It was clearly human in design, with the practical, functional aesthetic that characterized all human engineering. But the energy signatures were compatible, and the output levels matched the sphere's requirements. The real test would come when he tried to install it, and Marcus knew he would only get one chance. If he was caught, he would face exile from the station at best, imprisonment at worst. But if he succeeded, he might be able to give a father the gift of more time with his daughter. As Marcus prepared for what could be his final night as a free man, he thought about the irony of the situation. Humans were considered the least advanced species in the galaxy, barely tolerated as useful manual laborers. Yet here he was, preparing to save something precious using technology that supposedly superior aliens couldn't repair. Maybe, Marcus thought as he gathered his tools, it was time to show the galaxy what humans were really capable of. The exchange. The installation went wrong from the very beginning. Marcus had carefully planned every detail, waiting for HFY to attend a mandatory trade council session that would keep him occupied for at least 4 hours. But as Marcus crept into the ambassador's quarters with his improvised power core, the sphere began to pulse with an urgent red light. The device was dying faster than anticipated. The patterns on its surface, which had been slowly shifting like a gentle tide, now moved frantically. The melodic humming had become a discordant wail that made Marcus's teeth ache. Whatever consciousness lived within the sphere was aware of its approaching death, and it was afraid. Marcus forced his hands to remain steady as he began the delicate process of removing the old power core. The Vorthak technology was elegant but alien, requiring him to manipulate energy flows in ways that defied human understanding. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he worked, knowing that one mistake would destroy the very thing he was trying to save. The sphere's distress signals grew louder, and Marcus realized with growing horror that the sound was carrying beyond the ambassador's quarters. If station security detected an unauthorized energy signature in the diplomatic section, his mission would be over before it began. Working faster than he'd ever worked before, Marcus managed to extract the failing core just as his scanner detected approaching footsteps in the corridor outside. The sphere went completely dark, its consciousness suspended in the quantum foam between active and inactive states. Marcus had perhaps 30 seconds before the mind within would be lost forever. The new power core slid into place with surprising ease, as if human and Vorthak technologies were more compatible than anyone had suspected. But as Marcus initiated the startup sequence, the door to the chamber suddenly hissed open. HFY stood in the doorway, his crystalline skin cycling rapidly through shades of purple, black, and angry red. Behind him stood two Vorthak security officers, their weapons already drawn and charged. The ambassador's 12 eyes fixed on Marcus with an expression of pure fury. "Human!" HFY's voice was like grinding stone. "You will step away from that device immediately, or my guards will reduce you to your component atoms." Marcus looked at the power core in his hands, then at the dark sphere that contained a father's love made manifest. The startup sequence was only halfway complete. If he stopped now, HFY's daughter would be lost forever. "I can't do that," Marcus said quietly. "She's dying. Your daughter is dying, and I can save her." HFY's skin flashed to pure white, a color Marcus had never seen before. "How do you know about my daughter? How do you know what this device contains?" "I'm an engineer," Marcus replied, his fingers continuing to work on the installation sequence. "I understand technology, even technology I've never seen before. And I understand love. I have a daughter, too." One of the guards stepped forward, weapon aimed at Marcus's chest. "Ambassador, give the word and the human dies." But HFY raised a hand, stopping his guard. His skin had shifted to a deep blue shot through with silver streaks. "Explain yourself, human. Quickly." "The power core is failing," Marcus said, still working frantically. "The exotic matter is degrading faster than anyone anticipated. Without intervention, you have maybe days before the consciousness matrix collapses completely. And you believe you can repair Vorthak technology?" HFY's tone was skeptical, but Marcus could hear the desperate hope underneath. "Not repair, replace." Marcus held up the human-designed power core. "This will provide the same energy output with a lifespan of at least 50 years. I've tested the compatibility matrices. It will work." HFY stared at the device in Marcus's hands. It was clearly alien to Vorthak sensibilities, with its practical human design and crude-looking exterior. But as an ambassador, he'd learned to recognize quality engineering regardless of its origin. "You stole the materials for this," HFY said. It wasn't a question. "Yes," Marcus admitted. "I broke a dozen galactic trade laws and probably committed enough felonies to get me exiled from civilized space, but your daughter was dying, and I couldn't let that happen." "Why?" The question came out as barely a whisper. "Why would a human risk everything for the consciousness of an alien child he has never met?" Marcus paused in his work, looking directly into HFY's primary eyes. "Because 15 years ago when my daughter was born, I made a promise. I promised I would never let anything happen to her. I promised I would move mountains, cross galaxies, and fight anyone or anything that threatened her safety." The ambassador's skin shifted to a soft golden color. But this is not your daughter. No, Marcus agreed. But she's someone's daughter. And her father loves her just as much as I love mine. That's enough. The power core clicked into place with a satisfying sound. Marcus held his breath as he initiated the final startup sequence. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the sphere began to glow with a soft, warm light. The patterns on its surface resumed their gentle movements, but now they seemed more vibrant, more alive than before. A new sound emerged from the device, but this time it wasn't the mechanical humming Marcus had heard before. It was a voice, clear and melodic, speaking in the Vorthak language. "Father? Father, are you there? I had the strangest dream. I dreamed I was dying, but then someone saved me, someone I don't know but who felt like warmth and kindness." Zexhide dropped to his knees beside the sphere, his skin cycling through rapid patterns of joy, relief, and overwhelming love. "I am here, my precious one, I am here." "The power feels different," the voice continued. "Stronger, more stable. How is this possible?" Zexhai looked up at Marcus, who was quietly packing away his tools. "A friend," the ambassador said softly. "A friend made it possible." Marcus stood to leave, but Zexhai's voice stopped him. "Human. Marcus Chen, is it not?" "Yes, Ambassador." "You realize that what you have done today has changed everything. You have taken what was considered impossible and made it reality. You have shown that human technology can not only match Vorthak engineering, but exceed it in some ways." Marcus shrugged. "I just fixed a broken machine. It's what I do." "No." Zexahai rose to his feet, his skin now a brilliant gold shot through with silver. "You have done something far more significant. You have shown that humans possess something we Vorthak have forgotten in our pursuit of technological superiority. You have shown that sometimes love and determination matter more than laws and protocols." The guards were still present, weapons no longer drawn but still ready. Marcus wondered if he was about to be arrested despite his success. "What happens now?" he asked. Zexhai considered the question carefully. "Now, I must decide whether to report this incident to station security or whether some things are more important than following proper procedures." The ambassador moved to a communications console and began composing a message. Marcus couldn't read Vorthak text, but he could see that the message was lengthy and formal. "I am reporting to my superiors that I have discovered a revolutionary new power source that will extend the operational life of our most critical technologies by several decades," Zexhai said as he worked. "I am recommending that the Vorthak Council enter into immediate negotiations with human engineers to discuss technology sharing agreements." Marcus stared at the ambassador. "You're not going to report the theft?" "What theft?" Zexhai's skin rippled with what Marcus recognized as amusement. "I see only a human engineer who has solved a critical technological problem using innovative methods. The fact that he may have requisitioned certain materials through unconventional channels is a minor administrative matter." The sphere pulsed gently, and the voice of Zexhai's daughter filled the chamber again. "Father, I would very much like to meet this friend who saved my life. May I speak with him?" Zexhai gestured for Marcus to approach the sphere. Marcus knelt beside the device, feeling awkward about talking to a consciousness he couldn't see. "Hello?" he said simply. "Hello, Marcus Chen," the voice replied. "My father has told me much about your species, but I think he may not have understood humans as well as he believed. You have shown great kindness today." "I just did what anyone would do," Marcus said. "No." The voice was firm but gentle. "You did what someone with courage and compassion would do. There is a difference. My father was wrong about humans, and so were we all." Marcus felt a strange warmth as the sphere's patterns shifted to mirror the golden colors of Zexhai's skin. He realized that he was witnessing something unprecedented. genuine acceptance and gratitude from a species that had always viewed humans as inferior. As he stood to leave, HFY placed a crystalline hand on his shoulder. "Marcus Chen, you have given me back my daughter. In return, I offer you something that may be equally valuable. I offer you the chance to help bridge the gap between our species." "What do you mean?" "The Vorthak Council will want to examine your power core design. They will want to understand how human technology achieved what ours could not. You could be the first human to participate in our advanced technology programs as an equal partner, not a subordinate." Marcus thought about his own daughter, about the years of separation and the limited opportunities available to humans in galactic society. If HFY's offer was genuine, it could change not just his own life, but the future of all humanity. "What would I have to do?" "Be yourself," HFY replied. "Be the engineer who sees problems as puzzles to be solved, who values love over law, and who refuses to accept that anything is impossible. Show my people that humans are not the primitive species we believed them to be." Marcus looked one last time at the sphere, watching the gentle patterns that represented a consciousness saved from extinction. He thought about all the other fathers and daughters throughout the galaxy who might benefit from the technology sharing that could result from this moment. "I accept," he said. The Revolution. 6 months after saving HFY's daughter, Marcus Chen found himself standing before the Grand Council of the Vorthak Empire, the most powerful governing body in the known galaxy. The chamber was a massive crystalline dome that stretched nearly a kilometer in diameter, its walls pulsing with the same color patterns that decorated Vorthak's skin. Around him sat 300 of the most influential beings in galactic civilization, all of them focused intently on the small human who had somehow managed to revolutionize their understanding of technology. The presentation had gone better than Marcus could have hoped. Using holographic displays and real-time demonstrations, he had shown the Council how human engineering principles could enhance and extend Vorthak technology in ways their own scientists had never imagined. The power core he had created for HFY's daughter was just the beginning. Marcus had spent the intervening months developing fusion reactors, quantum processors, and energy distribution systems that combined human innovation with Vorthak precision. But the real breakthrough had come from something unexpected. HFY's daughter, whose consciousness now resided in her enhanced sphere, had begun collaborating with Marcus on new designs. Her perspective as a digital intelligence, combined with Marcus's practical engineering experience, had produced technologies that neither species could have developed alone. "The implications of what you have shown us today are staggering," announced High Counselor Thesara, her massive form towering over the assembly. Her skin displayed the deep purple patterns that indicated serious contemplation. "Your hybrid technologies demonstrate efficiency improvements of up to 300% over our current systems." Marcus nodded respectfully. "The key insight is that Vorthak and human approaches to engineering aren't competing methodologies. They're complementary ones. Your people excel at elegant, precise design. Humans excel at creative problem-solving and adapting to unexpected challenges. When you combine both approaches, the results exceed what either species could achieve individually." A younger counselor, his skin flashing skeptical orange, leaned forward. "You speak of collaboration, human, but these technologies require materials and manufacturing techniques that are closely guarded secrets of our empire. What guarantee do we have that humans will not simply steal our knowledge and use it against us?" The question sparked angry muttering throughout the chamber. Despite the dramatic success of Marcus's demonstration, many Vorthak still viewed humans with suspicion and contempt. Marcus had expected this challenge. "Counselor Vexthar, you're absolutely right to be concerned about technology transfer, but I think you're looking at this backwards." "Explain." "You're worried that humans might steal Vorthak secrets, but the real question is, Can the Vorthak Empire afford to ignore human potential? Marcus activated a holographic display showing galactic trade statistics. In the past 6 months, 17 different species have approached human colonies requesting engineering consultations. The Zelani Republic has offered exclusive trading rights in exchange for human-designed atmospheric processors. The Corvin Federation wants to hire human engineers to design their new starship fleet. The muttering in the chamber grew louder, but now it carried tones of surprise rather than anger. Marcus continued, "You can choose to maintain your technological superiority through secrecy and exclusion, but you'll be excluding yourselves from the most innovative engineering developments in the galaxy. Or you can choose to lead a new era of collaborative development that benefits everyone." High Counselor Thysaara raised a crystalline hand for silence. "You speak boldly for a member of a species that has barely achieved interstellar travel." "Yes, I do," Marcus replied without hesitation. "Because sometimes it takes an outsider's perspective to see possibilities that experts miss. 6 months ago, your own scientists told Zexhai that his daughter's consciousness could not be saved. They were wrong. Not because they lacked skill or knowledge, but because they were trapped by assumptions about what was possible." The chamber fell silent as Marcus activated another display. This one showed a real-time communication link to Zexhai's daughter, whose consciousness now inhabited a mobile android body that Marcus and his team had designed. The figure that appeared was clearly Vorthak, but moved with a fluid grace that no biological being could match. "Greetings, honored counselors," the digital consciousness said, her voice carrying the musical tones of Vorthak nobility. "I am Zara Hai, daughter of Ambassador Zexhai. Speaking to you from the research facility on Luna Station, I wanted to share with you the latest results of our collaborative research." The android gestured, and a complex technical schematic appeared in the air. "Using combined human-Vorthak methodologies, we have successfully designed a faster-than-light communication system that operates at instantaneous speeds across galactic distances. The prototype will be ready for testing within 30 days. The impact of this announcement was immediate and dramatic. Faster-than-light communication had been considered theoretically impossible for over 1,000 years. Every species in the galaxy relied on slower-than-light message drones, which meant that communication across the galaxy took months or even years. Counselor Vexithar's skin had gone completely white with shock. "This is impossible. Our greatest scientists have proven that quantum entanglement cannot be sustained across interstellar distances. Your scientists were correct within the parameters of their assumptions," Zarahai replied calmly. "But Marcus Chen showed me that sometimes the most important breakthroughs come from questioning those assumptions. Human engineering philosophy emphasizes adaptability and creative problem-solving over adherence to established principles." Marcus stepped forward. "The breakthrough came when Zarahai realized that consciousness itself might be the key to maintaining quantum entanglement across vast distances. As a digital intelligence, she could directly interface with quantum systems in ways that biological minds cannot. Combined with human adaptive engineering, we were able to create stable quantum bridges that maintain coherence indefinitely." High Counselor Thysaara's skin had shifted to a brilliant gold, indicating intense excitement. "If this technology works, it will revolutionize galactic civilization. Trade, diplomacy, military coordination, everything would change." "It will work," Marcus said confidently. "But more importantly, it's just the beginning. Zarahai and I have identified at least 50 other breakthrough technologies that become possible when you combine human creativity with Vorthak precision and digital intelligence capabilities." The council erupted in excited discussion as members began to grasp the implications. Marcus waited patiently for the noise to die down, then made his final, most important point. "Honored counselors, you have a choice to make. You can continue to view humans as inferior beings who might be useful for manual labor, or you can recognize us as the partners we're meant to be. The universe is vast, and there are challenges out there that no single species can face alone. He activated one final display, showing long-range sensor data from the galaxy's edge. Our deep space monitoring stations have detected something moving beyond the galactic rim, something large, artificial, and definitely not natural. Whatever it is, it's approaching our galaxy at significant fractions of light speed. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. First contact with truly alien intelligences from outside their galaxy was a possibility that few had seriously considered. "We don't know what's coming," Marcus continued, "but we know it will be here within the next century. When it arrives, do you want to face it as a collection of isolated species protecting their individual secrets, or as a unified galactic civilization that has combined the best of everyone's capabilities?" High Counselor Thisara rose from her seat, her massive form radiating authority. "The vote is before us, counselors. Do we accept the human proposal for full technological partnership and begin immediate implementation of collaborative research programs?" The voting process was unlike anything Marcus had ever witnessed. Each counselor's skin displayed complex patterns that somehow encoded their decision, creating a symphony of color and movement throughout the chamber. The final tally appeared as a crystalline formation in the center of the room, its structure indicating not just the outcome, but the strength of consensus. "The motion passes by overwhelming majority," Thisara announced. "The Vorthak Empire formally recognizes humanity as a full technological partner with all rights and privileges thereof. Ambassador Zexhai, you will lead the new joint research initiative. Marcus Chen, you are hereby appointed as the first human chief technology officer of the Galactic Council." As the chamber erupted in celebration, Marcus felt a communication device in his pocket vibrate. It was a message from Earth, from his own daughter Sarah, who was now studying advanced engineering at the best universities humanity could offer. "Dad, I saw the live broadcast of your presentation. I'm so proud of what you've accomplished, but I wanted you to know that your real achievement isn't the technology you've created. It's showing everyone in the galaxy that being different isn't a weakness, it's a strength. When I graduate next year, I want to join your research team. There's so much more we can discover together." Marcus smiled as he read the message. Around him, representatives from dozens of species were approaching, eager to discuss collaboration opportunities. The future that was unfolding before them would have been unimaginable just a year ago. Zarahai's android form approached him, her crystalline features arranged in what Marcus had learned was a Vorthak expression of deep gratitude. "Marcus Chen, when you saved my consciousness, you could not have known that you were also saving the future of galactic civilization." "Maybe," Marcus replied, "but I think the future was always there, waiting for someone to recognize it. Sometimes all it takes is a willingness to see past what we think we know and focus on what we could become together." As representatives from across the galaxy began forming research partnerships that would have been impossible just hours before, Marcus realized that the greatest discovery of his career hadn't been any particular technology. It had been the simple recognition that love, determination, and willingness to help others could overcome any barrier, even the barriers between species separated by millions of years of evolution. The galaxy would never be the same, and for the first time in human history, that change would be driven not by conquest or politics, but by the simple human values of compassion, creativity, and the unshakable belief that anything was possible if you were willing to work for it. The revolution had begun not with weapons or threats, but with an engineer's tools and a father's love for his daughter, and it would reshape the destiny of every intelligent species in the known universe.